Welcome to another Fife Property market update, and this is for the week commencing the 15th to the 21st. And we have got a lot to share with you for this week's show. There has been some amazing activity taking place within our agency, so we've got a lot to share with you. So I hope you're sitting comfortable. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments. Even if you're watching this later down the line as a rerun, still put comments and we will absolutely come back to you. But this is a fantastic show if you are thinking of selling, buying, or perhaps you're already in the market in Fife. This gives you a fantastic insight. What I will say is just a little bit of a heads up is if you are really keen to understand, then if you make sure you come and watch next week's market update, we're going to do a roundup for February, which is brilliant because it gives you a whole month's worth of data. Because as we always say, week in, week out, 1 week doesn't make a trend, even though we have been seeing a trend for the last couple of weeks. But actually getting the full monthly roundup gives you a fantastic snapshot into what is actually taking place. Because something we always say, Perry, Jim, the sales team, is don't get bogged down into listening to the noise and what other people are telling you. You really need to do your homework and educate yourself with the facts. So we've made it easy. We've compiled everything into the show as always every week. And we'll start off with looking at what was taking place on Rightmove with all agencies that advertise on there just for last week alone. And this is new instructions versus properties that are now under offer. So you should see the numbers up on the screen just there for you. Let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger. That's actually making it smaller, isn't it? Try the opposite way. There we go. So you should be able to see that it is broken down into micro regions, and then we have a roundup. So 135 new properties were made available just last week alone versus 113 properties going under offer and going now sold subject to concluded missives. Now, this is why I say 1 week doesn't make a trend, because for week in, week out, month even, probably dating back to the end of October, start of November, there's been more properties selling than what's coming to market. Now, if you are thinking of selling your home, you really need to get your ducks in a row and be moving quickly with your valuation, with your marketing, and getting your property on, because as the weeks continue and we get closer to spring, you are going to see more and more properties coming to market. So what that means for you as a seller is there's going to be a lot more competition out there. And naturally, when there's more supply than there is demand, you tend to get buyers that are not as proactive, that are a bit slower because they have multiple options. Likewise, that offers potentially aren't as competitive or what you're potentially looking for because they have other options. So it is obviously key that you look at all this information, you really do your homework, but this is where we say 1 week doesn't make a trend. So it'd be keen to see next week's show when we do the monthly roundup for February to see exactly what was taking place. So as I said, 135 versus 113. So straight off the bat, Cooper 10 versus 10. And I'm sure if I rack my brain back, it was the same for last week that we had even Stevens in terms of instructed and sold being the same number. Now, I'm sure of that. So it's great to see that, again, Cooper is holding strong. So that's 1415 postcode, 10 versus 10. East Snook, 5 instructed, which is what we do tend to see as an average in these kind of months, but actually slightly slower on offers being accepted with only 2 properties going under offer. It was slightly higher last week and the week before because we'd had some results in the East Snook, but only 2 instructions. St Andrews, though, 11 new properties instructed, and I'm sure the week prior it was the reverse. There was more properties sold than instructed, and I said it's kind of good for the KY16 postcode just now, but it just shows you turn it another week and it flips its head and there's more properties instructed than what was sold. And as I said, we will continue to see that as we get to your spring months, but just be really mindful in your KY16 postcode if you are thinking of selling. what your average selling time is, about realistic pricing. Now, I could really go into a lot of depth about that, but there's a lot of information to share with you on today's show. So if you are in the KY16 postcode and you're either thinking of selling or perhaps already on the market and you're not getting the result or the outcome that you were perhaps expected, please do reach out directly. More than happy to chat with you, discuss it in more detail, and give you a really good insight into the KY16 postcode. Leavenmouth, though, a massive increase, and this is actually where we've seen the 135 jump, is Leavenmouth had 21 new instructions just last week alone. Average is kind of low 10s, middle 10s, but actually it's jumped up to 21, so a massive influx of KY8 properties. And when you think Leavenmouth, that covers your Buckhaven, Kennyway, Windygates, so it has got that radius, but 21 new properties made available. So something was obviously in the water last week in Leavenmouth versus 13 properties sold. So still a strong number of properties going under offer, and that is kind of average for the Leavenmouth area, but it is a really strong marketplace. And again, we'll see that when we look at the monthly figures next week. Dunfermline has snapped back. We are back into the high transaction numbers at 50 versus 61. 61 is slightly higher, but obviously they have got a good bit of stock to work through. Dunfermline naturally is always higher transaction numbers than what we see to the other areas. Glenrothes, 14 versus 2. So yes, 14, kind of average for Glenrothes, but what is surprising and is absolutely not average for Glenrothes is only 2 properties going under offer. Again, it's normally the 10s, sometimes even the higher 10s, but never has it been single digits. I don't even think it was that over the kind of festive winter periods. I don't think there's ever been a week as slow as that. The reason for that, honestly, I couldn't give you an answer just now in terms of that. And this is why we say 1 week doesn't make a trend. Perhaps it's offers obviously getting accepted the tail end of the week prior, or there was negotiations happening throughout last week that will then fall through into Monday, Tuesday of this week, and we'll see the number creep back up. But 2, it's nothing to be alarmed about. And this is why it is really important to really do your fact finding and dig deeper. But 2 for 1 week is not a concern. It's just a surprise. Kirkcaldy, 24 versus 22. Again, average numbers for Kirkcaldy. After Dunfermline, it is the next highest transaction number location, apart from obviously Leavenmouth this week. But Kirkcaldy normally is the next highest, so nothing untoward there. So that accounts altogether for your 135 versus 113. And as I said, if there is anything that you want to discuss in more detail in a particular micro region, in a particular area, then please do reach out. More than happy to chat with you, give you an understanding, and to discuss, if you are looking to sell, what your next steps are and what obviously can be done for you to get you a fantastic result. Now, speaking of results, as I mentioned, we've got a lot to share with you on today's show because we have had some amazing results with properties going under offer last week, with new properties coming to market, and also properties that have concluded. So they've gone through that whole conveyancing stage, and we can now disclose what offer was accepted on them. So I hope you're sitting comfortably. I hope you've got a cuppa because we've got a lot to talk through. So as always, we're going to start with properties that are now under offer, so had offers accepted on them last week. So the first one up on the screen, and it is a KY8 property, which is great because we've got a lot of activity that took place in the KY area, which accounts to obviously properties going under offer and adds to that overall number that you saw on the previous screen. So first one is Pentland View on Kennyway, and you may be thinking, oh, is this not the one that you sold a couple of weeks ago? No, we actually had 2 on the market within Pentland View. One was a slightly higher price point, and then we had this price point at 215. This one has now gone under offer. So in the space of a couple of weeks, we've got both of the ones on Pentland View under offer. Now, this particular one was a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom detached property. You can see that they did actually convert the garage. So there was a conversion, still had off-street parking, gardens. With this one, it's fantastic. You can go in, really put your own stamp on it, and know that you're adding instant value, especially if you do keep an eye and you see what the other one was on the market for versus this one and the work that you could do to it. So you know you're going to add instant value. It is in Pentland View, so it is a sought-after cul-de-sac area, walking distance to amenities, the Kennyway Den, and of course you've got the Cameron Bridge train station. So that was a great one to get over the line. Then the next property that went under offer is another one in the KYA area, and this one was Graham Crescent in Leven. 2-bedroom, semi-detached, again in a sought-after location because you're in that Mount Fleury area. Recently renovated, shower room, off-street parking, and you've got a rear garden as well. It had workshop space that you probably weren't expecting, especially just looking at it from the street. Affordable price point as well at 125,000. The new family are upsizing and delighted to have secured that property. Now, like always with these ones that have just had offers accepted, we can't disclose what that number is. You'll just need to keep a lookout so that you can see what offers are being accepted in the current market. The next one that we had an offer accepted on, different location, but it was great to get this one over the line. And it was the Cross in Cooper. So for this particular property, it was a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom, top floor masonette, and it was actually this property here. So you went up this deep end, and then this was your living room, which was absolutely stunning. And then this was your main master bedroom. And actually within here, there was a dressing area, a big, massive floor space for bedding, for your bed, sorry, and then also an ensuite. So it was over 2 levels, and it went a good distance back as well. It was a massive floor area. It was over 100 square meters. I can't remember the exact, but it was over 100 square meters. 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom. So what do you expect? And it was immaculate. The video went really, really popular. I think within the first 24 hours, it had like over 16,000 views on it. But the interiors of this home were stunning. That's what everybody was commenting on, how immaculate it was. It was like a show home, while also being really spacious, while also being right in the heart of Cooper, really central. Great price point. It offers over 175,000. And what was great to see is this property went to a first-time buyer. So what a fantastic property to enter the market in, getting that kind of standard. Literally nothing needs done. The kitchen was brand new, the bathroom's brand new, all integrated appliances, everything that could possibly done, boiler, heating, everything was done. So for a first-time buyer to secure that, just fantastic. So we're delighted. Likewise, the seller is delighted that we got them a result within 1 month of being on the market. Another property that went under offer, again, different location, was within the East Neuk. So this particular property, it was Newark Farm, St. Monans, just on the outskirts of St. Monans. So you've got Bow House, and then you've got the start of St. Monans at the kind of Fife development. It's just a cluster of cottages on the right-hand side beforehand. This particular one, and it is the one with the solar panels on the roof, was a 3-bedroom, 2-reception, 2-bathroom terrace cottage. You wouldn't expect that standing at the front door in that garden space, but then you enter through and you have a 3-bed, 2-reception, 2-bath, 1 level living with this property because you did have a bedroom and a bathroom downstairs. Also was a completely private enclosed garden, and there was space for off-street parking, south-facing garden as well, may I add, and again, an opportunity to add value. So, going in there, because it was on for offers over 250, there was some TLC to be added just to make it more comfortable as your home. Instant value. You also got amazing views from the upper bedrooms across to the Newark Castle. But what is even better, and just like the last property, first-time buyer secured it. And again, at that price point, you maybe weren't expecting that at the 250 price point. First-time buyer was renting in St. Monans, so knew they absolutely loved the location, wanted to stay within the East Neuk for that lifestyle, work from home as well, so it's fantastic for them, first-time buyer. So it is amazing to see that 2 of our properties so far, there's more to get to, 2 of our properties so far went to first-time buyers. Next property, and it should be up on the screen for you, this particular property. So this one was Lago Road in Leven. If you are local to the area, you know exactly where this is situated, overlooking the golf course, countryside views to the rear as well over Lago Lore. And this particular one, it was a semi-detached 3-bedroom, 2-reception property. There was actually architect drawings in place to redesign the lower level. As you can see, you're on a great plot that you had plenty of off-street parking. You had garden grounds to the front and rear. And once it's given that love and potentially those plans are put into place, it will create an absolutely beautiful home in a prime location, knowing that you are going to add value. Now, it was on the market for offers over 270,000. The new buyer is absolutely delighted to have secured the property, take on the project, and really put a stamp on it and know that they're going to make such a difference to that home and also their lives with the lifestyle that this property is going to offer. So that is another great one to get over the line. And in 3 weeks as well, which is a fantastic result, especially if, again, you do know the area and you perhaps do drive along that stretch of road. You'll know that at the minute there is a couple of boards upon that street, some of which have been up for a wee while. So it's great to see that we got a result within 3 weeks. And obviously the buyers that came forward and the viewers that came forward were not put off by the fact that there is a little bit of work to be done. They could see the potential. They bought into the lifestyle and the location, result in 3 weeks. So the seller is delighted as well. Still not finished there. There is another one to go. Let's have a look. Oh, that might be us actually. No, I think that is us. I was getting carried away with myself. But anyway, they were fantastic results, different locations, different range of price points, but also a different range of buyers, two of which being first-time buyers at a 175 price point and a 250 price point. So perhaps not what you were expecting, but it does still show you, yes, there's a scaremongering going on with mortgage rates, inflation, affordability. That's two first-time buyers at slightly higher price points that have just entered into the property market. So brilliant to see. It gives you almost that buyer confidence. Likewise, all of our sellers are delighted. What I will say with those properties is, as you saw, a lot of them got results within 3 weeks, got them within a month. That does mean buyers missed out. So if you have anything similar, price points, style, locations, and you are looking to make a move, but you think you need to wait till spring, summer, that just shows you in black and white, do your homework. When you have a proactive local expert agent that understands the marketplace, understands realistic pricing, but also has aggressive marketing and a strategy that works, you can get results just like that. So if you are looking to sell, you've just seen something similar to your property, we have buyers that missed out. So please do reach out and we can discuss next steps for you and what your journey can look like. Coming soon. So this is properties that Perry and I have been out to and are coming to market with ourselves. So this is me giving you a little bit of a heads up before you see the pre-portals. So this is before you see our full video walkthrough on social media. So what you're looking for is to follow the social media page where you're looking to purchase a property, because we have one for each location. You're then looking for the words pre-portal and the agent's face. When you see that, watch the full video. It is in depth, it is in detail, it does a full walkthrough of the property. It is your virtual viewing. Make sure you keep listening until the end, because at the very end we tell you the price point, and that is the key here. We'll never ever miss out the price point. So I know you're keen to hear it and you're keen to find out, but if you watch it to the end, we do tell you the price point. And if it is something that ticks your boxes, do reach out to us. But we've got some brilliant ones coming, different locations, again, different price points. So the first one is Letham Terrace in Leven. It's a first floor, 1-bedroom flat. So we know it's going to be great affordability. We know it's going to be obviously desirable to a lot of the kind of marketplace in terms of first-time buyers, in terms of investors, in terms of landlord. Now Perry is doing the pre-portal for that one tomorrow, so you don't have to wait long for it. So do keep a lookout on the Leven page tomorrow for Perry's pre-portal, and you need to act fast with this one because I can guarantee it's going to be a popular one. Next one is Main Road in East Weems. Now this particular property is a 2-bedroom terraced. So again, we know it's going to be a popular one. It's East Weems. It's a desirable location. And even last year, in the tail end of last year, we had some fantastic results in East Weems and West Weems. It is a great location for commuting, for lifestyle, for the Fife Coastal Pass, for everything. And it's a 2-bedroom terrace. So again, we know it's going to appeal to a lot of the marketplace. So again, keep a lookout on our social media page for the pre-portal of that one. You don't have to wait long for it. I believe Perry is doing that one at the start of March, so you don't again have to wait long. Get yourself ready, get yourself organized, and if you need guidance on what that means, again, reach out to us. More than happy to advise. Another one we have coming to market, and we know it's going to be popular. We've not long done a recent sale on Den Walk. We had some fantastic results at the tail end of last year as well, and we have another one. This particular one is a 2-bedroom ground floor flat. And again, you may be thinking I'm saying this for every single one, but it's absolutely true. It's another one that's going to be a great price point, great affordability, and again, appeal to first-time buyers, couples, landlords, investors. So my reason again for telling you this is you need to act fast. If you see that pre-portal, which is getting done on Thursday, again via Perry, once you've watched it, you've looked at the price point. If it does appeal to you, reach out, act fast, because I'm sure that one is going to get snapped up. And then another one, a different location, is Grange of Lindores. Now, not a lot comes up in this location. And for those that perhaps don't know where Grange of Lindores is, if you are coming from perhaps Cooper and you are heading to Newborough, you'll drive through Den of Lindores. There's then a little road it's like a farm track up left, and you get to a little nook of properties, and it's Grange of Lindores. So it's just off Den of Lindores before you hit Newborough. And this particular one is a 2-bedroom semi-detached bungalow. And when I tell you this one is stunning, that is not even showing it to its full potential. It is immaculate. It's recently renovated. It's been extended. I absolutely love this home. You've got plenty of driveway space to the front. You then step in. You've got a big, massive family bathroom, 4-piece, 2 bedrooms, fantastic size. You then have a utility room. And then you step into this open plan living kitchen space. The kitchen is such high quality standard. All of your integrated appliances. There's massive bifold doors along the back. You step out onto a composite decking patio area. You've got countryside views. It's got Velux windows, so the light is flooding in. It is just incredible. Show home standard. There's no other way to describe it. I am excited for this one because we always know that anything that's within the kind of surrounding villages and locations and semi-rural of Cooper is so popular, especially at the price point it's predicted to come in at. So you do not want to miss out on that one. It will be on the Cooper page. Marketing will be commencing shortly for that one, so do keep a lookout. So that is what we've got coming soon at pre-portal. If you do want more details, comment, reach, message directly, do what you need to do to get in touch with us, and we're more than happy to chat with you. Now completed. So this is properties that have gone through the conveyancing stage, concluded, new buyers have moved in, so we can disclose what offer was accepted on them. And this is where it is fantastic to see types of buyers, what offers over, etc. was achieved. So again, I hope you're sitting comfortably because there's a good few. I wasn't lying when we said we had a lot of activity taking place last week. First one, and it was Lethen Fuse, the caravan park just outside Leven on the road to kind of Kennyway. Was a 2-bedroom, 2-shower room lodge. With this one, there was actually permanent residency, which you don't get an awful lot when you are purchasing a park home. Spectacular views as well, countryside views, and then you can see to the Firth of Forth in the distance. Tranquil, obviously, lifestyle. You've got a short drive to everything within Leven, down into Kennyway, down into Windygates, across to Cooper, down to the East Nooks, St Andrews. So you really could go in any direction. What was great about purchasing a lodge as well is you do not pay ADS, so you don't have that additional dwelling. So you're buying into that lifestyle and somewhere to escape to without having to pay that 8% tax. And this particular one was on for 82,500, so a good price point as well. Next one was Skeeth Road in Cellardyke. Now, this particular property was a 2-bedroom upper apartment, finished to an immaculate standard, modern interiors, allocated parking space, and it was in that Silverdyke sought-after development, and it sold for, straight on the nose, 200,000, which was great to see because, especially last year, there was a lot of this style of property on the market. There was a lot of 2-bedroom apartments, whether they were ground floor, upper floor, kind of between Acorn Court and Skeeth Road, and all within that Silver Dykes. There was a lot. I think at one point there was like 6 or 7 A lot of them were reducing price down, reducing price down, reducing price down, or still sitting on the market. So it was fantastic to see that we secured that buyer and got that one over the line, and actually still at a good price point that the seller is happy with at 200,000. We didn't get under that 200,000, which was brilliant for the seller, and to get a result when there was so much competition within that development, especially when some of that competition was a lower price point, and we were still able to secure a buyer quicker at a higher price point. So that is the key to just understand there. The new buyer's delighted as well that they've secured that one. Next home was Skullbrae in Letham. This particular property was a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom, end terraced extended bungalow. It had really spacious modern interiors. It had an open plan lounge into a kitchen, diner. It had a master bedroom with an ensuite, 3 further bedrooms, bathroom, and then a garden to the rear. And it was in Letham. Desirable location, great family home for the area as well. What was surprising though is this particular property was on the market with another agency. It wasn't getting the traction, it wasn't getting the viewers, it wasn't getting the results that it actually deserved. One, for the location being desirable, and two, for the standard of the property and how it was a family home. They moved over to ourselves, and within a couple of weeks we had a buyer secured. And that buyer had been looking on the marketplace. It's not like they'd just entered and we just happened to time it right. Absolutely not. That buyer had been looking for a home for a while. The property just hadn't been showcased in its best light. Didn't have the best reach. Video went up. I actually did a viewing before it went to the wider market. Great price point as well. It was sold for 258,500, so 8,500 over home report. So it's not even like they moved to ourselves and had to reduce the price. They still got 8,500 over the home report, sold in a couple of weeks, buyer secured just by moving agencies to a local expert that is aggressive again in the marketplace and has a marketing strategy that works. And that was the key. So both parties were delighted, especially because the seller of this went on to purchase one of our homes as well. So we were able to manage that whole chain and give them the confidence. Fantastic result. If you have a home in Letham, please do reach out, because you will not believe how many people are looking to be within that location and just want to secure a home. So if you do have something in Letham, please do reach out. More than delighted to come and see you and just discuss exactly what our marketing does, just like it did for Skullbrae, to get you moved. Wellesley Road in Buckhaven is another property that's concluded. It was a 3-bedroom semi-detached, fantastic opportunity to add value. I actually drove past this morning and already the vans are outside. We're moving things in, we're moving things out, and that only concluded on Friday, I believe. So they are acting fast. This particular one sold 3,000 over home report value, cracking family home, front and rear garden, sea views with this home as well, and it sold for 113,000. New owner is absolutely delighted, and as I say, driving past this morning, already well on the way with things. Another one was Lomond Crescent in Falkland. Again, another desirable location in the surrounding areas of Cooper, and this particular one was a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, semi-detached home, and it had a fantastic opportunity to go in and add value. It was a property that is fantastic location. Your back garden actually backs onto the primary school. So if you do have wee ones, you can just hop them over the fence. Going in there, you know you're adding instant value, but you're getting a really good spacious, because as I say, 3-bed semi-detached. It had gardens to the front and rear, driveway, garage, perhaps if you wanted to keep that, yes or no, but the footprint was there to either replace it, keep it, do what you like. And then it had spacious lounge, kitchen, porch area, downstairs bathroom, master bedroom with an ensuite and 2 further bedrooms. So it was a great family home, fantastic opportunity to go in and add value. And again, desirable location. And again, with this one, which was great to see, is I was actually in Falkland on Wednesday or Thursday of last week. It exchanged early on in the week, I want to say the Monday. Did a drive-by because I was going to value another property. And again, already, even the garden, it's all been cut back, it's been cleared. And even the difference in the curb appeal doing that. So again, they got the keys and they hit the ground running. So it was great to see already the work that they were doing to the home to make it their own. And then finally, we had Coldstream Avenue. It was a 2-bedroom semi-detached bungalow, off-street parking, garage, landscape gardens, sought after location, anything within that Coldstream kind of cul-de-sac, desirable location, walking distance to the Glen. You can obviously head down into the town centre, down into the high street and even the leisure facilities, the swimming pool, bus station. Obviously, that's just going under refurbishment just now, train station, etc. So great location. And this one sold for 7,700 over the home report value. So we've got 207,700. Buyer delighted. So that was everything that we sold coming soon and concluded on last week. So I wasn't lying when I said there was a lot of activity. If you've got any questions on that, please do reach out. Now, before I move on, what should I say? Get on. We will just do a roundup of the shows that have taken place so you can see what you perhaps want to go back and rewatch. Now, as always, Wealth Creation Show takes place on a Monday, lunchtime. Always Richard Cook, the Lettings Director, and Jim Parker, one of our UK's most successful property investors. And yesterday's was all about the cost of inaction. And what if the biggest financial mistake you'll ever make isn't a bad investment? What if it isn't choosing the wrong stock, the wrong property, or the wrong business? What if the most expensive decision you'll ever make is actually doing nothing? Are you perhaps ready to explore the hidden force quietly draining millions from people's futures, not through action, but through hesitation and no action? That is what they're on hand discussing. So you can absolutely go back and watch that. And if there is anything you wish to share, questions, your own thoughts on the matter, put them in the comments and they'll absolutely come back to you. Another show that took place was Perry and I did a show on moving home in 2026, and it was a fantastic show because we gave you loads of hints and tips and also fantastic insight into 15 things to think about and prepare. And it was almost like if you watched the show Love It or List It with Kirsty and Phil, it was almost doing that with you, and giving you kind of pros and cons for both and getting you to really evaluate, because moving home is a major life moment. Between, I think they say getting married and moving home is the two most stressful things. And it does require equal parts strategy and also a little bit of soul searching. And the key to success lies in how much thought and preparation goes into making such a big decision. You face it, your property is your biggest asset in life. So you don't want to do anything rash. You really need to do your homework and understand whether you're staying put and improving or looking to move and how to attract the best buyer. And also when is the best time to sell, breaking down the process into manageable steps, because there'll perhaps be things as well that you've not thought of in the process, whether it be solicitors, whether it be your mortgage or you're having to port. Likewise, if you've done work on your property, have you got all the completion certificates, the building warrants? Have you got all of that in place? Have you got any guarantees perhaps? And it's really getting it all down into 15 key things for you to think about. So do go back and watch that show that Perry and I did if you are looking to get moved in 2026. Or if you're already on the market and started the process, there might be something included in there that you missed. So do go and watch that one. And if you're looking for any further information, do reach out to us. So that's us for another week. That is another market update. If you have any questions, as I say, please do reach out. We're more than happy to have a chat with you. Also, don't forget next week's show where we do the full February roundup. That is going to be a brilliant insight for you. But for me and for this week's, that is all. So I hope you have a fantastic week. We will see you throughout the week and we wish you all the best. Take care.